Welcome to the Pretty and Profiting Show, your favorite show for branding, beauty, business, and the truth of how to be a boss lady and build your empire. Pause the show right now and grab your seat at prettyprofitsgift.com and enroll into the free 21-day e-course to build a brand that people crush on, gossip about, and buy from. And now, your host. She is the fierce money-making brand strategist and creative freaking genius, Nicole K. Lundy.
Welcome to another episode of the Pretty and Profiting Show. So at this very moment, hundreds, thousands, millions of tweets are being posted on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Vine, on Snapchat, some of the top social media platforms in the world. What's going to make you stand out and attract clients is your visual branding. There's so much going on that if you thought ADHD was a problem before, it's even more of a problem now. So it's not super complex or as dramatic as we may think it is to attract clients. We just need to amp it up a bit and be consistent in a few key areas. And one of those key areas is in your brand colors. So even though it's social media and it's not, directly on your site, if your brand colors are orange and blue, as an example, most of your social media should be tied to orange and blue. It doesn't have to be the exact shades, but it should be complementary shades that ties to your brand colors. This way, it's consistent. The look, the visual of it is consistent with your brand, and people will recognize it immediately. So I don't want you to be all over the place. I don't want you to have red and green images. I don't want you to have pink and purple images. Stick with your brand colors and be consistent. The only person usually that feels it gets too repetitive is you, because you're in it. It's you that's distributing the content, the visual branding. So you may feel like you're repeating yourself a lot, and that goes with different areas in the business, including training and how you sell yourself and speak and other activities in your business. But to the world, it's about building a brand. You don't see Apple going off the hinges with a red box or whatnot. Now they do have exclusives like the iPhone 5C. C stood for colors, so it came in an array of colors. So you can do exclusives and bring in brand colors, but for the most part, in your visual branding for social media, you want to be consistent with your brand colors. Now, I have a resource for you that I use all the time. In fact, I got my own brand color palette from this site, and it's called colorlovers.com. And I'm going to spell it because it's spelled in a British way, colorlovers.com. There are millions, literally millions of color patterns on this site, and you can get lost. But I do recommend, if you do not have your brand colors picked out yet, to spend a few hours on it. At least go into it with an idea of what color you want your brand to be, along with the reasons why, the type of brand you're building, who you want to attract. Have all of those in place so you're not just going through the whole gamut of options, because it is overwhelming. 2, I want to talk about the pictures you use on social media. So a lot of times I witness, unfortunately, blurry images or images that were used by another brand, and as a result it has their watermark or their URL. There is a place and time for sharing content from other brands and businesses, but for your original content on social media, you want to have professional photos. I personally use 2 websites. One is Graphic Leftovers, and 2 is the Dollar Photo Club. I just joined Dollar Photo Club recently. I honestly like both. I go to both sites, and whatever picture suits what I need an image for, I grab it from that particular site. Now, there are other sites where you can get free stock photos. Just do a quick Google search, but you want to have photos that tie directly with the message that you're putting on social media, and you want it to be yours. That way you can leverage it and have it on different platforms in different ways. You can use it for other visual branding needs, maybe a training class or a presentation, or if you have a speaking opportunity. If you own the stock image, it elevates what you're doing and you can leverage it much better versus a Google image and you're hiding out hoping the person who owns this image doesn't find you and sue you. So today we're talking about how to use visual branding to attract clients. We will be right back. It's time to get bold and get your brand out there in a big, smart way. If you want more clients, a waiting list, in fact, the exact tools to make more money with your programs, to become the celebrity in your marketplace, generate more business opportunities to showcase your expertise, a zealous community of people in your tribe, and to make more money, I created the Monetize My Brand program to do exactly that for your business. Listen, the world is hungry for real, authentic brands that not only transforms their life, but impacts generations to come. Go to prettyprofits2015.com today and enroll. So today we're talking about how to use visual branding to attract clients. Before the break, we talked about being consistent with your brand colors and using pictures that you own from stock websites. I do want to add with images on Instagram, which is fast becoming one of my favorite social media platforms. They have filters that you can use, and I actually have an album in my phone to use those filtered photos in other areas or on other social media platforms that I have. So get creative, but you have much more freedom and sound of mind, and you do up-level your business when you own the stock photo. Next, I want to talk about the format of your visual branding. Now, if you have a podcast, and I know I talk about podcasting a lot, but if you interview people on your podcast, you don't want to have, a million different ways that you have a graphic made with the featured expert for that episode. You want to have a standard layout. And if you're a person that likes variety, maybe up to 3 templates of how how you create that graphic, or how your graphic person creates that graphic for you, so that you are consistent. So with each step, brand colors, images, including the format, you want to be consistent. If you add your logo to your images, make sure it's in the same place every time. If it's in the top left corner every time in a faded watermark type of way, make sure it's like that on every photo. And this applies to pictures and video, because you have social media platforms like Vine and Instagram where you can have very short videos. So you want to be consistent with even the cover photo of those videos, and on YouTube as well. And if you're using video on Instagram, Vine, and YouTube, those should all be consistent as well too. Format in terms of text format. If you are a business coach and you like to give a lot of tips on your social media profiles, you can use a commonly used hashtag like BizTip. If you're a sales professional, you could use hashtag SalesTip. And that could be in a consistent way. People who follow you know that if a tweet starts out with sales tip, then you have a really juicy sales tip for them. It creates consistency, and people will learn how to disseminate your information, how to receive it, how to use it, and maximize it. Last, I want to talk about fonts, because fonts I absolutely love. So another site I want to give you as a resource is dafont.com, DAFONT.com, and also 1001fonts.com as well. There is no reason at all that you should have standard fonts. Arial, Times New Roman, Georgia, Verdana, any of those regular fonts in your social media, they have a place for them, like your URL, but the title, other things, you want to tie them to your brand font. I am of the belief that when you get a rebrand, or even when you're just starting out and you're getting your logo done, you should be very involved in that process of researching fonts and giving ideas to your graphic designer that's working on your font for you, because that font goes in way more places than just your logo. You will need to use it to create the consistency that people need to see so that they recognize your brand and it builds your authority. They need to, I'm sure if you think of your favorite brand right now, you could see the font from a mile away and know it's that company. That is the exact same philosophy that you need to bring to the fonts that's in your own brand. Now, to sum this all up, visual branding needs to go in your brand book in your business. It's a simple file that you can create on Google Drive with your color patterns, your fonts that you use, how your images should be structured. You can keep it in your operations manual and systems manual, or you can keep it separately. Every time we get graphics done, we send our color palettes to our graphic designers so they know the exact shade of pink, purple, green, peach that we use in our brand. And that helps us to stay consistent, because you cannot keep it all in your head, and you need to build your business like a real business as soon as possible. So that's it for today. Visual branding to attract clients. Easy steps to follow that you can implement this week. And I want to hear from you how you will up-level your visual branding to attract clients. Make sure you post in the Facebook group, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Pretty and Profiting Show. Now, I want you to join the Pretty and Profiting Posse over on Facebook. It's simple to join. Just go to Facebook, type in Pretty and Profiting in the search box, and click join. Hurry, we're waiting on you. Until next time, stay pretty and stack those profits.